Bloodsport is the name several supervillains appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics. The first incarnation of the character was created by writer and artist John Byrne, first appearing in Superman number 4, April 1987, while making sporadic appearances within DC, within Superman-related titles influenced by the character's reinvention in the DC Extended Universe. Also had made the connected to the Suicide Squad. The most well-known incarnation of the character is Robert Dubois, an African-American whose backstory varies. Originally, Robert was a draft dodger who became mentally ill from guilt when his brother served in his place, resulting in the loss of his limbs. Exploited by Lex Luthor unknowingly, he is set as vigilante against Superman, culminating to a famous assassination attempt following his reinvention in the DC Extended Universe. His backstory is revised, making him an avid patriot who hesitated in joining the army when his brother enlisted and was killed in action. He is inspired by his bravery and becomes a mercenary, eventually coming into conflict with Superman and is recruited into Task Force X. Another source also defines him as a world-class marksman capable of making anything into a weapon, trained by his mercenary father, similarly to his DCU counterpart. The Robert Dubois incarnation of Bloodsport made his live-action debut in the television series Supergirl, played by David St. Louis. Idris Elba portrayed the character in the DC Extended Universe film The Suicide Squad 2021. Bloodsport's original successor, Alex Trent, is a fanatical racist, a member of the white supremacist group that both Perry White and Franklin Stern encountered in their youth. He adopts the name Bloodsport, ironically used previously by an African American. He also has a similar teleporter grafted into his body, which he can likewise use to summon weapons. He is captured by Superman after Ron Troop destroys the warehouse from which he was teleporting his weapons. Sometime later, in an effort to provide an outlet for rising tensions at Strikers Island Prison, a boxing match between the two Bloodsports is organized. Trent is able to activate his teleporter and bring in weaponry. In the resulting confusion, Dubois is killed while trying to escape. Trent is later burned in his prison cell by the Brotherhood for showing weakness in front of Dubois. The teleporter technology has since been used by the anti-corporate vigilante Demolitia. An unnamed person took up the mantle of Bloodsport and eventually teamed up with Helgrimit, Silver Banshee, Kryptonite Man, Toyman, Puzzler, Livewire, and Riot to take on Superman. Superman attempted to stop all the villains, especially Bloodsport, who had attempted to shoot Jimmy Olsen. After these events, Bloodsport turned up in the crowd of villains transported to another planet in Salvation Run, and to be quickly defeated menace by Guardian. Wikipedia, Bloodsport. Trump Vance meet with Pope Leo's Florida brother, a major MAGA fan, at the White House. President Donald Trump met with Pope Leo XIV's brother, Louis Prevost, at the White House. Historical Institute of the Society of Jesus, a Roman work of the entire society, the constitutions of the Society of Jesus and their complementary norms, a complete English translation of the official Latin text, the Institute of Jesuit Sources, St. Louis, 1996. You get that at the web archive, because the Society of Jesus had that publicly posted to their website for download, their constitutions, and then they took it off their website. It might have been Jesuits Canada, I'm not sure. A papal renunciation, also called a papal abdication, occurs when the current pope of the Catholic Church voluntarily resigns his position. Pope John Paul I, born Albino Luciani, October 17, 1912 to 28 September 1978, was head of the Catholic Church and sovereign in Vatican City from August 26, 1978 until his death 33 days later in September 1978. That's 48 years ago. Pedro Rupi was the Jesuit Superior General at that time, and then he retired after he had an aneurysm stroke on an airplane in Rome. Pedro Rupi was under attack by directed energy weaponry from a satellite. And then Pope John Paul II is shot, at that time, Pedro Rupi was still superior up until 1983, when Cardinal Dezza was placed as temporary Jesuit Superior General by Pope John Paul II until Peter Hans Kolbenbach is elected in 1983. Peter and Pedro have the same meaning. And then there's Pope John Paul II, first and second. Read Revelation 18, it says a do double. This is 48 years ago, and I'm not sure. COVID lockdown might have been 1 hour with the beast. Revelation 17 and 18. On 13 May 1981 in St. Peter's Square, Peter Spinuzzi is a judge at Walker River Justice Court in Urrington, Nevada. In Vatican City, Pope John Paul II was shot and wounded by Mehmet Ali Akka. While he was entering the square, the Pope was struck twice and suffered severe blood sport. Akka was apprehended immediately after, later sentenced to life in prison by an Italian court. Sacco Limited is a Finnish firearm and ammunition manufacturer located in Rimaki, Kantahame in southern Finland. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. January 30th, 2026. Sacco is a Finnish firearm and ammunition manufacturer located in southern Finland, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And Pope John Paul II was shot twice, even though it wasn't by a sniper rifle like Donald Trump's ear. What a trick shot that was. Louis Raphael Sacco. Sacco Limited is a firearm ammunition manufacturer located. Donald Trump shot in the ear. A sniper rifle. Louis Raphael Sacco. Sacco is a name match here. Is a Chaldean Catholic prelate who has served as Patriarch of Baghdad since 1 February 2013. Pope Francis made him a cardinal on June 20th. This is going to be the next pope, and this is why there was Desert Storm. The Iraq War was to get Saddam Hussein out of the way, for the Vatican to regain whatever it lost when the Roman Empire ruled Mesopotamia. After Robert Francis Prevost retires Pope Leo XIV in 2028. This is going to be the next pope. Presidential elections are scheduled to be held in the United States on November 7, 2028 to elect the president and vice president of the United States for a term of 4 years. Kamala Devi Harris, born October 20, 1964, is an American politician and attorney who has been the 49th and current vice president of the United States since 2021, serving under President Joe Biden. Raphael, who has the same name as Louis Raphael Sacco, Cardinal. This is Louis Sacco's son. Raphael Warnock, something happened. I don't know what happened. If Louis Sacco donated sperm to some secret Black Ops project that they have control of in the American government, who knows? Or he actually went to Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia, Charlie Daniels song. Raphael, same name as Louis Raphael Sacco, Cardinal, Catholic prelate, is going to be the next pope. Raphael Warnock's going to be vice president elected by inaugurated January 20th, 2029. Is an American politician and Baptist pastor serving as the junior United States Senator from Georgia, a seat he has held since 2021. Mars is the god of war. The United States presidential line of succession is the order in which the Vice President of the United States and other officers of the United States federal government assume the powers and duties of the U.S. presidency or the office itself in the instance of secession by Vice President upon an elected president's death, resignation, removal of office, or incapacity. Tulsi Gabbard is going to be the 50th president of the United States from Hawaii. Tulsi Gabbard, born April 12, 1981, is an American politician and military officer. This, if you read enough news articles and look, I did not frame this information. People are mad, they're doing framing, they're doing free speech. Anyway, this is what's going on here. Tulsi Gabbard, by God knows when, 2031, is going to be, they have already been the director of national intelligence. They're going to be the spokesperson of Congress, the spokeswoman, whatever, of Congress. Maybe by 2029, They're going to be somehow, they're going to be the 50th. Kamala's going to be the 48th president. Warnock somehow is going to be the 49th. And then Tulsi Gabbard is going to be the 50th president. 50 states, 50 nifty United States from 13 original colonies. The Knights Templar are number 13. This is going to be the 50th president right here, Tulsi Gabbard. The conspiracy is racist, considering blacks, Hispanics, and Aboriginal peoples to be inferior races of useless eaters. They believe, or at least profess, that the Anglo-Aryan race is the true Israel, British Israel, and Christian identity for the dupes, and an Anglophile secular humanism for the leaders, and thus the master race. They have convinced the so-called useless eaters that they are friends, benefactors, and protectors. In the meantime, they plan to enslave these poor people under socialism or eliminate them altogether. Marxism, the Illuminati has convinced socialism somehow. So when if you believe something, you manifest it. That's socialism. You believe in Jesus Christ as your Savior. You believe in God as your Lord and Savior. That's what you're manifesting. That's socialism. Marxism is an extreme, is a communism, fascist Marxism is from the church. Is their Savior, and the sheep will follow this Judas goat eagerly. There will be no individual rights, only privileges. These will be granted or denied at will by the world super government. All property is to be owned by the state. There will be a redistribution of wealth. They plan to eliminate class differences and reduce the standard of living to a lower level in the advanced nations such as the United States, and to a higher standard of living in the so-called third world nations. This leveling of the standard of living will be accomplished through a global economic collapse, which is in its beginning stages. This article was published in 1998. The economic collapse will fulfill the goal of Marx and Engels' Communist Manifesto, mandating the elimination of the middle class. The graduated income tax was the first implementation of this process, and is one of the planks of the Communist Manifesto. NAFTA and GATT are part of this process, encouraging industry to move into third world nations in order to exploit cheap labor. All existing religions will disappear. The only religion will be the state religion. Humanism or Illuminism is papal. Papal humanism, where man venerates the Pope as God. He says he's the vicar of Christ. He gets to rule in place of Christ and say whatever he wants in the name of Christ, whether he believes it or not. All county and state governments will be eliminated and replaced with regional government. These regional governments, home rule, are already in place. Regionalism is gradually taking control throughout America. There will be no more cash. Trade will be accomplished by a system of computer credits with accounts, access through debit cards, and computer chip implants. The cards or implants will also serve as personal identification, driver's license, etc. When this is completed, the human race will be shackled to a computer in a never-ending cycle of debt. No action or movement will ever again be private. Majesty 12 by William Cooper. Copyright 1997. William Cooper. All rights reserved. Hot Majesty, houroftheTime.com. Raphael Warnock is the son of Louis Raphael Sacco, the Cardinal of Baghdad, Iraq. The Council of Trent, held between 1545 and 1563 in Trento in northern Italy, was the 19th ecumenical council of the Roman Catholic Church, prompted by the Protestant Reformation at that time. It has been described as the most impressive embodiment of the ideals of the Counter-Reformation. To scroll back to the very top, keep this in mind, the Council of Trent, blood sport, Robert Dubois in a fight with Trent, the white supremacist, who wore a red cross. Trent, this character, was a white supremacist, and he would teleport weapons. He had a red iron cross. Now, I'm not sure if that's the Hospitallers, the Knights Templar, but Robert Dubois, Robert Francis Prevost, is a Jesuit, is a secret member of the Society of Jesus, is a secret member of the Society of Jesus. The 14th, read the 14th exercise of the spiritual exercise of the Loyola and predestination. So they have this predestinated plan. Kamala and Warnock are going to be president, vice president, and somehow Tulsi Gabbard is going to be Speaker of the House at that time, is going to be the 50th president of the United States of America.